All right. Now, if you have the book in front of you, you can see the first statement says the negation of all A R is at least one A is not B. Okay, now what does that mean? So the first one says the negation of all A are B, okay, is at least one A is not B. All right, so this means, let me write it for you. All A is something, let's say, called B. Okay, so this means if I say uh, all the students, uh, okay, so at least one A is not B. Okay, so let's say use example 11 for it. Okay, let's say everybody cheats on their taxes. Okay, so the question says, what is the minimum amount of evidence you would need to prove your friend wrong? Okay, so your friend says everybody cheats on their taxes. So he says all the people, that means everyone, okay, cheats. So he says everyone cheats. And if I want to prove him wrong, what do I need? Do I need to prove that nobody cheats? Or do I actually need to prove at least uh, I know one guy who doesn't cheat. What do you think? Just use your intuition. Just try to imagine. Okay?
You just need one instance of somebody who doesn't cheat to prove him wrong.
Exactly. Because he said everyone cheats, right? But I want to prove him wrong. So if I can somehow show that there is at least one guy who doesn't cheat, okay, that means his assumption is wrong, because all means there is no one who doesn't cheat. Try to understand, okay, try to use your intuition. So he says everyone cheats. So if I can somehow prove that at least one, there is at least one who doesn't cheat, then we can prove the negation. That means he is wrong, his assumption is wrong. Okay, so that's number one from the box. But two says, we'll come back to it if you have any question, no problems. Okay, number two says, no A or B, at least one A is B. This is exactly the vice versa of the first statement. It says, no A is B. So I can actually use the opposite um, assumption. Uh, so let's say I'm saying that nobody cheats on their taxes. Okay. So if you want to prove me wrong, what do you need? You need to prove that there is at least one guy who cheats. Because I said no one in the world cheats on their taxes or cheats on their exams. And you want to prove me wrong because I started with the statement said negating. That means you are trying to impose something opposite which I uh, stated. Okay. So if you want to prove me wrong, which where I said nobody cheats on their exams, all you need is there is at least one, at least it could be more than one, but all you need is there is at least one who cheats on his exam or on her exam. So this will prove that my assumption, my statement is wrong. Does this make sense? Just these are all English phrases. try to understand what's going on. Okay? Similarly, okay. I'm sorry, because once I start the lecture, it's difficult to keep an eye on the waiting room as well as on the book and on the iPad. So it's really difficult. I apologize for the delay. I hope no one else is waiting in the waiting room. All right, yeah, that's perfect. Okay, now the next one, number 3 says, at least one A is B. Okay, so now I'm saying at least one A is B. Okay, so let's say I'm saying at least one of you will get 10 out of 10 in the second homework. Okay, so if I say this and you are trying to prove me wrong for some reasons, what do you need? Use your intuition. Don't look at the box. Try to use uh, um, your imagination. Try to imagine the situation. I'm trying to say at least one of you will get 10 out of 10. Okay, get a 10 out of 10. At least one of you, at least. It could be more than one. Okay, but I'm saying at least one of you will surely get 10 out of 10. And if you want to prove me wrong, what do you want to show?
You want to show that no one will get 10 out of 10, so no one in the class will get 10 out of 10. They can
Exactly. If you can prove that actually no one got 10 out of 10, then you can prove me wrong. But you have to show that no one. So that's really important. That means, in other words, you have to show that everybody got less than 10. Right? Does this make sense? Again, I'm repeating myself. These are all about negating. That means you are trying to prove something wrong, trying to prove the opposite. Okay, let's quickly go to the number 4. The fourth one says at least one A is not B. Okay, again, it's the vice versa, I guess, of 3. So now I'm saying, okay, at least there will be at least one student from this math 1000 who will not get 10 out of 10. Okay, I'm saying there will be at least one student out of this 37 who will definitely get less than 10, whichever it is. So if you want to prove me wrong, what do you need to prove? You need to prove that everyone got 10 out of 10. Can you see that? I said at least once there is at least one student who will get less than 10, and you're trying to prove me wrong. That means no student, try to understand, there is no student who got less than 10. In other words, everyone, all the students got 10 out of 10. Only then you can prove me wrong. That's how you can negate a statement. Now, any question? Now take your time. Any question from this? Anyone? No question at all? Okay, so now I'll give you just 1 minute. You don't need to write it anything. Just use your imagination and solve. Try it now. I'll ask individually, okay? Just randomly, I'll call you by your name and you just give your statement on this. Try it now. 1. So that's on page, I believe, page 412. Try to use this concept, and you don't need to write the negation, just have it on at the back of your mind. When I ask you, you just need to express it, okay? It says all Icelandic children learn English in school. So you need to write the negation. That means you want to prove it wrong, okay? You want to say that no, not all the Icelandic children learn English in school. So if that's the case, what should be uh, the statement? How can you prove that this statement is wrong? Okay. Now, I guess I can start asking from the participants list. Okay. Okay. Whom should I ask? Okay. Eric? Can you hear me? Eric, can you tell me what would be the answer for right now one?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just give it a try. Don't worry, even if you're wrong, okay?
Just for try it now one?
Yeah. So it says all the students in Iceland, that means all the Icelandic students, learn English in school.
Would it just be that no Icelandic children learn English in school?
No, not really. As I said, the statement says all the students, so you don't need to really prove that no students learn English in school. So what it could be?
So would it be like one student in Icelandic learns English in school?
Not quite. No problem. Let me ask someone else. No worries. We can clarify things later. Um, who is next? Okay. Sophie? Can you hear me? Sophie, are you here? Looks like she's not here. Stephanie? She's not here either. Jordan? Okay, okay. No problem.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So what do
Okay.
yeah.
I think it would say that at least one student doesn't learn English in school.
Exactly. So it says, thank you. I want to get a print. Did you call on me? Oh, no problem. No problem. Yeah, you're good. Okay. So it says all Icelandic students, right? And I'm trying to negate this. I'm trying to prove this wrong. So it says all students learn English in school. So I just need to say there is at least one student, I should write at least in front as well, at least one student who doesn't learn English in school, right? And this should be it. this should be the answer of try it now one. Now, any question from this one? As I said, you can see this takes probably half a minute rather to solve. But if you have one extra word or one less word, you can see the result would be completely different. I guess we started with Eric. He was almost right, but he didn't say it doesn't learn, right? So you can see what I'm trying to impose here is if we just miss one of those words, or if we add one of those words, this could be wrong and you'll be penalized, right? So it's really important. You can see you don't need to calculate anything here. You need to use the right phrases and you'll get full credits. Obviously, this will be a part of multiple choice questions, ideally, even though it's a question of, let's say, five credit. You can see there is no way you can show your work for this type of questions. All you need to do is to write the statement using right phrases. Okay, any question from this one or the discussion we had so far? Okay, let's try the next one then. Meanwhile, if you find any question, just write in the chat section, and once I finish the topic, I'll try to answer your question, okay? All right, so if you remember, we did see the symbols, and it was a pre-assignment for you guys to remember this, because if you can't remember what does this symbol mean, then you might be doing it in the wrong way, okay? So on page 413, once again, that's my humble request to you guys to remember the symbols, okay? So this symbol will be used for and, this will be used for or, and this will be used for negation. Because often we'll use these symbols instead of writing it in English, okay? All right, so let's try example 15, and hopefully this will make your life easier, okay? All right. Would Circle-In work as a platform for study group? Yeah, definitely. Circle-In would work as a platform for study group. Yeah, sure. I'm using it as a student, so I think you should be able to use that as well. Yeah. All right. So next we have, it says, I like Pepsi or I like Coke. Okay. So let's denote Pepsi by P. And let's say Coke is denoted by a capital C. Okay. Now the first statement says, I like Pepsi or I like Coke. So if you remember, for or, we'll use this notation, right? Which looks like a V. So I said, I like Pepsi or I like Coke, so I can use this. So for that statement, I like Pepsi or I like Coke, I can clearly write this one, which means the exact same thing. So you can see, instead of writing a big sentence, I can use these symbols to express my expression, to express my statement. Okay. Next one says, I like Pepsi and I like Coke. And for and, we'll use this ups and down, down V. Okay, so that's like a mirror image in terms of the x-axis. Okay, so if you have a mirror here, if you put a V here, this mirror will give you an image like this. Okay, anyway, that's not necessary. So we said and, so this will give us this. If you symbolize like this, it will mean exactly the same as the statement B. That means I like Pepsi and I like Coke. All right. Okay. So I said P is for I like Pepsi, right? So if I say I don't like Pepsi, what should I write? So P is for I like Pepsi. I'm trying to negate this, right? I'm trying to negate this, that I don't really like Pepsi. So this is for I like Pepsi. If I just use the negation sign, it will mean I don't like Pepsi. Does this make sense? Everyone?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, so let's move on. See, what does D say? D says, it's not the case that I like Pepsi or Coke. Okay, so that means I'm trying to negate the statement that I like Pepsi or Coke. Just try to understand what's going on. It's really important, as I said. It shouldn't take more than half a second, my bad, half a minute to write your answer, but using the symbols to its exact place could be crucial. Okay? So the statement is, it's not the case that I like Pepsi or Coke. In other words, I'm trying to negate that I like Pepsi or Coke. I'm trying to prove it wrong. I'm trying to negate this. Okay, so the statement I like Pepsi or Coke looks like this, as you can see from A. So this statement means, rather this symbol means I like Pepsi or Coke, but I want to negate this entire statement, right? So if I can use this sign, this should mean that the negation of I like Pepsi or Coke. Okay, because clearly D said it's not the case that I like Pepsi or Coke. That means I want to negate the statement A, that is, I like Pepsi or I like Coke. Take your time, okay? Take a deep breath and try to understand what's going on. In this chapter, mostly we'll have these smallish questions, which is a bit tricky. But you can see these are really small questions. Okay. All right. Next one says, I like Pepsi and I do not like Coke. Okay, if you remember, we have used P for the statement I like Pepsi. So definitely Pepsi, P will be here. Then it said, and then it joined the two statements with and. So for and, we can use this. Okay. Next, it said, I do not like Coke. So for I like Coke, we have used C, and I'm trying to negate that. So this will mean I do not like Coke, and I'll join it because the two statements were linked up with an and. So this will be I like Pepsi and I do not like Coke. Okay. Now let's take a pause and see if you have any question. If you have any doubts, you can clarify it now. No problems. I'm more than happy to explain it once again. Anyone, any question?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
This might be a stupid question, but I guess the symbols will be pretty clear, like they won't ever be confused for letters, like a V or an A or anything, on our, I guess.
Do you mean in my math, my open math?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's actually a good question. So yeah, definitely you'll see that. Yeah, it will be clear, and it will be what should I say? It would be precisely mentioned. Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I had a question too. It might be kind of a stupid question. When we like she said, when we do this on homework or on exams, when we have to submit a picture or whatever, are you going to be really hard on like how we write it? So like what if we wrote out like Pepsi, and then like what if we wrote everything out except for the symbols? Like that'd be fine too.
Oh, okay, I understand. That means you are saying that, for example, you are trying to write it using English phrases instead of the symbols, right?
Well, yeah, just like if we, well, like not on purpose, but if, like what I'm saying is you won't grade super hard on this. Like if we have the idea, but we like spelled something out or something, we'll get the points.
Oh, well, it depends, because you can see just these are actually how well do you understand it, right? So it will be hard to, have a partial grades on this, but I generally am not really hard on gradings, but I'm not sure, because if the question, for example, if I set up a question um, saying that rewrite the statements using the symbols, and if you can't use the symbol, then it's really difficult to grade, right? So
Right.
okay, we'll see. Yeah, I'll try to be as generous as possible. Yeah. All right, let's why not let's why not try it now too. Let's try the next one. Okay, so take a minute or two and try it now too. Let's see how is that going. Okay, why is that? Sorry. Yeah, here you go. So it says we have carrots or will not make soup. Okay, and the question says translate this statement into symbols, where C represent we have carrots and S represent will make soup. So once again, you can see the question, the only thing you need to do here is to write the same statement using symbols instead of this whole big sentence. The question wants you to rather transform it, okay, translate it using symbols. Okay. So let me write it for you so that it's more convenient. So let's say C stands for we have carrots. Okay. And S stands for we will make soup. Okay. Now let's say let's do it one by one. Okay. Let's say A says we have carrots. Okay. Just let's do it one by one, step by step. Okay. So if I say we have carrots, how can I rewrite it using symbols? Anyone?
Would it be C?
Exactly. It would be C, right? Okay. Next, I'm saying will not make soup. Who wanted to volunteer? I guess I saw one before we actually had the answer for the first example.
Well, it would be the squiggly negation sign with an S.
Very good. Yeah. So we said S will be for will make soup. We're trying to negate this because I said will not make soup. Oops, sorry, I forgot to write will here. Anyway, that still should make sense. Okay. All right. So that will be will not make soup. Okay. Next, let's say we have carrots. Okay. We have carrots and will not make soup. Now what should we do? Okay, from the chat section, I guess Lanny said, can I volunteer? Okay, Lanny, what's your guess?
Sorry, this is unrelated, but doesn't it say or in the question?
No. I'm giving you a new question.
Okay. Okay, I understand.
Yeah. I'll actually go to that as well. I'm trying to do a couple of more before we finally reach that. So if I say we have carrots and will not make soup, how should we write it?
It would be C and then like the upside down V and the negation sign an S.
Very good, yeah. Because for C, for we have carrots, we'll write a C. Then I am joining these two statements with and. So that means it's upside down V or whatever way you want to use to remember the symbol. That's perfect. I guess that's a Greek letter. So, okay, what I'll do, I'll try to recall the name of this. Anyway, you don't need to recall it as long as you write it in the exact way. But yeah, I'll definitely let you guys know how to pronounce it. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, you changed it to and. Are we supposed to do that like all the time? Because the original problem was or.
Oh, no. I'm writing a new question for you. I'm just writing a new question for you here. And I'll go to that because, as I said, I'll do more steps, as you can see, before we join, before we finally do the question.
Okay, I see. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. That's perfectly fine. If the question says or, you need to do or. What I'm trying to do here, using the same problem, I'm doing more steps, okay? I'm trying to do it step by step and show you more problems, okay? So if the question says or, you need to do the or. You don't need to change it to anything else. Yeah, that's something quite obvious, okay? All right, so I said we have carrots and will not make soup, okay? So that's for and then I said will not make soup, so that's the negation, okay? So that's for we have carrots and will not make soup. Okay. Next, we are finally to the question we are given, which is we have carrots or will not make soup. So we have carrots or will not make soup. Okay, now how should we write it?
It should be the same thing, but with the V instead of the upside down V.
Exactly. So for we have carrots, we know we can use C. For or, we'll use this symbol. And then for not make soup, we'll use this. Oops, sorry. That looks like a minus. Yeah. So this should be our answer. Can you see that? Now the next one, I have more questions. Okay. That I'm just showing how the question could be. Okay. It doesn't mean you need to do all the steps for just D. If you have D, just directly write it. You don't need to do the other steps. I'm just showing how can you solve questions using the same given informations. Okay, if you had, for example, if you had a question like C, how can you write it down? That's it, nothing else. If you have a question exactly same as try it now 2, you just need to write D. You don't need to write anything else. Okay. Okay, let's try one more question from this particularly given information. Okay, let's say okay. So we used C for we have carrots. Okay, so let's say how about we don't have carrots. And we'll make soup. How about that one? So the question is, let me write it for you. So we don't have carrots. And we will make soup. So how should we write it? What should be the translation?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So it would be the squiggle symbol and then a C,
Mhm.
and then the upside down V S.
Very good. Yeah. Simply because we use C for we have carrots. That means we don't have carrots means it's the negation of that statement. That means this would mean we don't have carrots. Okay. Then for and, we're going to use this symbol. And we have already said for will make soup, we can use S. So for this entire statement, this would be our translation. Any question? Yeah, go for it.
Would you have to use parentheses around the C and the squiggle?
Only for this one? Like this?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't need, to be honest. Yeah, you don't need to use this parentheses. You only need to use the parentheses when both the symbols, that means both C and S, has a relation with the symbol before it. For example, like D. of example 15, I believe it was. Yeah. So this negation works on both P and C. That's why we have used this parenthesis. But on this occasion, this negation is actually working on C only, right? So that's why we don't really need to use the parenthesis. Okay. All right, so, okay. So next, we'll start the truth table. Okay, so I guess I have, yeah, 7 more minutes, so we can start it now. So we'll start with the definition at page 414. If you can see, there's a box saying truth table. So what does it mean? So a truth table actually shows the resulting truth value of a complex statement. Okay. Now, this definition is itself a complex one, is a sophisticated one, right? So to understand it better, we want to go deep into this. Okay. All right. So let's try example 16, and then we'll come back to the definition. I hope that will make more sense. Okay. All right. So let's try example 16 first. Okay. If you have the book in front of you, I want you to have it open in front of you, because I'm not going to write the entire question now. I'm just going to write the solution because it's a big question. So if you can see the question, that would be convenient for you to understand what's going on. Okay. All right. So the question says, you're picking out a new coat, or is it a new couch? Oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, it's the couch. And your significant other says, get a sectional or something with a chase. I don't understand what this word chase means, or how do you pronounce it?
Like a half couch. They're like it's like a long kind of bed area. I don't know how to describe it, but you could look it up and it would help. I'm sure you know what it is. Just the word is a little weird.
Oh, no. So the good thing is I don't really need to know what it means. Yeah, but yeah, I can Google it later on. That's perfect. But the good thing is I don't need to know what it looks like, or what does it actually mean, or even how do you pronounce it. Yeah, but yeah, I'll definitely Google it anyway. I know how does a sectional look like, but I don't think I have seen the letter. Anyway, so now we want to make a truth table for it. Okay, and let's see how can we build up it. Okay, so the statement says, get a sectional or something with a chase. How do you pronounce it, by the way? Is it chase, or there is another way to pronounce it?
It's a French word. It's pronounced chaise.
Chaise, okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Chaise, okay. So that means we are using this or statement, right? Okay. And let's say we'll use S for sectional and C for chaise. Okay. All right. Now let's draw this table. Soon it will make more sense, I believe. Okay. And let's say this is for sectional, this is for, oh, sorry, did I write a T? It should be a C instead. And as your significant other said, sectional or something with a chase. So that's why we are writing C, S or C, okay? Now let's see what we can derive from it. Okay. All right. Now, let's say I'm trying to say using English phrases, and in the truth table, you'll help me to write it, or rather translate it using symbols. Okay. So let's say the first condition, I have bought a couch, okay, which does have a sectional. Okay. So for the truth table, we'll use T for true and F for false. And this true means this is, we actually have it, or our requirement is fulfilled, and F will mean our requirement is not met, it's not fulfilled. Okay. University of Wyoming Communication. Anyway, so I have bought a couch which does have a sectional. Does it satisfy our requirement? Let's look at this first column. I have bought a couch which does have a sectional. So it does satisfy that, where S is used for is a sectional. So it satisfies our requirement, right? So it's true. Okay. And that couch has also a chase. That's the first condition, okay? I have already bought a couch which has a sectional and a chase. So definitely it satisfies rather, that has a chase. So I'll use T under C. That means it satisfies my condition. Now, my final requirement was we need to have either of those two. We need to have at least a sectional or something with a chase. The one I have bought has a sectional, has also a chase. Does it satisfy my requirement of S or C? Just try to understand. Don't straight away look at the solution. And I'll use T if it satisfies my requirement, or F if it doesn't. So what should I write it? Should I write a T or should I write F?
You should write T because it does satisfy the requirement.
Yeah, it actually satisfies both the conditions, right? But I only needed one. It has more, so no worries with that. If I have more, that's perfect. That's even better. But as long as I have at least one of those conditions, I can say that, yeah, that is true. This T, as I said, will signify that my condition, my requirements are met. Or if it's one single requirement, it's already met, okay? So I have a sectional, which also has a chase. That means my requirement is met, so I'll write a T. Okay, now the next condition, let's say Sophie has bought, that's not an I, by the way, let me remove it first. Okay, Sophie has bought a couch, which does have a sectional, but it doesn't really have a chase. Again, the T means, this T means it does have a sectional, but it doesn't have a chase. That means I'll use F because it didn't really met this condition of having a chase. Now, my final requirement was I needed to have at least one of those. That means I need at least a sectional or a chase. Does it satisfy my requirement?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because I actually have at least one of these, right? So I can say, yeah, it satisfies the condition. It's true. Let's go the other way. Let's say Jordan has bought a couch which doesn't have a sectional. That means we'll have an F under it, but it does have a chaise. Now, what does it mean? Does it satisfy my requirement of having at least one of these two? And the answer, you can eyeball it, that yeah. Let me use a circle so that you can see what's going on. So yeah, you can see there is one T here, and I needed at least, this or means at least one of these two. So I can say, yeah, my condition is satisfied. Okay. Next, let's say Mary.
Sorry, what was the question?
So let's say you have bought a couch which doesn't have a sectional. It does not have a chaise as well. Yeah, the class is already over. I'll just take 30 seconds more, okay? Because I needed to finish it. So let's say Mary has bought a couch which doesn't have a sectional, which doesn't have a chaise as well. So does it satisfy the requirement of having at least one of these two?
No.
Also, you can write F. So that's how a truth table looks like rather. Okay, so we'll stop it here and we'll start right from here on Friday. Okay,